welcome back to AM Northwest. Okay, what can you do when the kids or maybe the grandkids start complaining that they're bored? How about nothing? Here to share why boredom is beneficial to kids' development, we welcome pediatric development experts, Dr. Emily Heisey and Dr. Matt Otteman. Good to have you with us. Now we want to explain to our audience that you are not a couple, but you both have kids on your own, right?
Yes.
Correct. Yes, our own children, but we are business partners.
Yes.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, so how can parents, grandparents because kids always say, I'm so bored.
I know. I hear it with my own children. I have two little girls, a 7-year-old and an 8-year-old. And even yesterday, I'm bored. I'm bored. But honestly, the best way to beat boredom is to let them be bored, because that is going to spark imagination. Okay. Once they start playing shop, or they go outside and they're washing their little trikes car, it really sparks this whole dynamic to where they don't need you anymore, and they can start playing and enjoying movement and just enjoying being in nature. It's great.
Because really now we have a generation of kids and their parents who are addicted to screens.
Yes, there was actually a recent study by the NIH that stated that screen addiction can start as early as infancy. So if a child isn't moving, this is negatively going to impact their, cognitive development and everything past that. So they're wired for movement. Let's give that to them.
Doctor, what are you seeing when it comes to kids who are constantly being entertained by a screen as opposed to being out there in nature and playing in the playground?
Yeah, so screen time is not bad. I have a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and an 8-month-old, and we just went on an 8-hour road trip. There were screens involved. But I think what's really
I'm
important.
sorry, an 8-hour road trip? I would be screaming. And screens. There would be screens and screaming. So yes, that's impressive. I get it. You have to have screens during that kind of situation, don't you?
Absolutely, and there's no shame in that happens. I think what's important is outside of the screen time, we like to practice what's called purposeful play. So as a parent, you're going to play with your kids. Why not do it in a purposeful way? What we're seeing is that gross motor development, things like crawling and walking, actually stimulate brain development. So just by playing with them in a strategic way, you can set them up for success later on. Now, what that may look like for your little ones are going to be setting toys out further away from them. So they have to figure out how to move their body and go over objects, things like that. For older kiddos, this could be going outside to a playground, doing bar hangs or slide climbing is really great activities for them to use their muscles, get tired, and then take a good nap afterward.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. But isn't part of the problem, though, too, when we set an example that we're on our screens?
That is huge. I know with my family personally, we do a do not disturb on our iPhone. And that's a time where it may only be 30 minutes. But as a family, we are not going to look at screens. We're going to do cooking. We're going to go family walks. We're going to go down to the pond and go fishing. And that intentional time really makes a difference with our kiddos. But it's good for us as mom and dad, just to take that time away and be with our family.
I have to say, I'm impressed. In my neighborhood, when I take the dogs for a walk, there's this one family with their 3 kids walking every day at the same time, and the kids are on a bike or on a scooter, and it really seems like it must be great bonding time.
It is. And really, kiddos having a schedule and setting that into your daily schedule of a daily walk, it gets them from being so bored, right? They're anticipating this fun time. And again, we all like a schedule. We like routine.
You mentioned something when it comes to older kids and getting them away from their screens. You mentioned something called time matching. Tell me a little bit more about how that works.
So time matching is basically for every minute you are outside playing, enjoying the environment, you get that minute to be on your screen. The thing is that intuitively, when they're outside, they're going to like being outside. They're going to enjoy that. And so they're probably going to do it quite a bit of time. They're not going to worry about being on their screen. So really, we're the ones winning. It's just a game we play.
Okay, doctor, so as the kids get into their preteens and maybe even a little older, is it too late by then to change things up, to say, okay, let's do the time matching kind of thing?
No, absolutely not. You set an example for your child, and that starts with, like she was talking about, that starts with us as parents. So setting a time, setting your schedule, if it's important to you to do it, they're going to see that. And then that's going to help just take their activity level from being stagnant, watching something, and they see that that's just part of life. They get to go outside. They get to do these things. They don't have to, they get to.
What would you say is the biggest mistake that parents make when it comes to summertime and the kids?
I mean, there's a lot. I mean,
One,
I think
pick
we're
one,
all trying
pick
to
one.
figure it out. I mean, again, it is day to day, but I would say that give yourself grace, number one.
Right.
And
Right.
start small. That's what we were talking about, this purposeful play. 20 minutes a day that it's going to support your child's development, but it feels like playtime. Start with that. I think
Yeah.
that's the basics of it.
Yeah, and then don't be so hard on ourselves. Yeah, parenting is hard enough, especially this comparison where everything's on social media and all of this stuff. Like, what's important to you as a family, stick with that. Start small, and you can expand it from there.
Yeah, these are great ideas. We want to tell everyone again, we'll put all the information on our website at k2.com. Emily and Matt, thank you both so much.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thanks.
You bet. All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest.